tide is low. The day is getting old. It's 8:30 in the morning already, T-Rex. And it's Friday. What are we waiting for to start our Friday? Sorry, that was my fault. I feel like I'm watching a simmering pot, looking at the weather and the weather forecast. The pattern is getting riper by the moment with air coming in from the southwest. The temperature is already 65 degrees this morning with some alto cumulus, every layer of cloud up in the sky right now. And we have energy coming at us from pretty much every direction. A clash of the summer warmth and late winter chill occurring over New England in the next 60 hours. Where are you going, Steve? Yeah. What do you see? Okay, Steve's on the move. It's very challenging. You know, I try and digest all this weather. You come out the door, you never know what you're going to see. And you try and regurgitate everything that you just memorized on the weather map. There's the sun pretty high in the sky. And you get all these fun distractions. Like they're redoing after last Thursday's 5 inches of rain. Take two. They filled in all the washouts and I'm going to try and put this coconut mesh erosion control down ahead of another heavy rainstorm coming our way. This erosion control mat, I don't know if it was meant to do this kind of job, but that's what it is, and that's what T-Rex likes to sit on. What do you mean by a simmering pot of weather? Where should I start? How about the regional temperature and dew point and wind roundup from 8 o'clock this morning? Look at especially Pennsylvania. You see the blue numbers, the dew points. In western Pennsylvania, the dew point is near 50 or in the low 50s. And in eastern Pennsylvania, the dew point is in the mid 60s. That's a very subtle boundary. And it's along that boundary that we're going to see low pressure intensifying, several waves of low pressure coming up through New England, consolidating into a single storm center by tomorrow afternoon. And there's not a lot of wind with this now, but that's going to change. The barometer is going to be deepening rapidly, but because the center of the low has a rather broad center, it probably does not get that windy in New England, despite how low the barometer is going to be. We'll see that in a moment. Here's the satellite imagery, and you can see the heaviest clouds over Kentucky, another pretty good batch east of North Carolina. Most of that east of North Carolina energy, I think, is going to slip just south of us. And also a front in southeastern Canada is coming south. So we have a cold front coming at us from the north and a warm front coming at us from the south. And here's how the map looks this afternoon at 2 o'clock. And you have that warm front boundary right over New England. And along that boundary, there are going to be some very small but intense downpours. You see the little red outline there, right over Worcester, Massachusetts. So the thunderstorms today are going to track from west-southwest to east-northeast. And they're going to be very small, but can be drenching and can really dampen the evening if you're outdoors this evening. But they're going to be so small, one town may have sun out and the next town may be getting a thunderstorm. And you may get a rainbow today. And that's going to be the difference between those dew points in the 60s and the dew points in the 50s. And that's also, I think, how we're going to lay the track for tomorrow's storm. So why don't we get to tomorrow's storm using the NAM, which really failed us on yesterday being a rainy day. Actually, why don't I show the radar too first before I get to the NAM? And there are the three batches of precipitation. One coming out of the Kentucky region, another one in Ontario. Those are the two that are going to combine and come right over us. Well, I think most of that energy south of New England should slip just south, but it probably fans the fire a little bit. All right, now let's go to that NAM. And there they are this afternoon, about, say 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 4 o'clock, that's 20Z, right over. It looks like Everett, Massachusetts with this thunderstorm threat, and they're so small, but again, could be potent. So most of New England, most of the day is not a bad day. I think a few spots may get close to 80 degrees, and that's some of the energy for those storms. And then here comes the real action. tomorrow. And this low pressure center now, I said it was in fantasy land. The NAM had it going over Nantucket yesterday, and we said, no way. And sure enough, it's adjusted well to the west of that. But, in a global sense, it's tiny. But in a New England sense, it's huge, because on the east side, that's where your heaviest rain comes through. Southern and eastern New England first thing tomorrow morning, then that lifts out. But in western New England, to the west of this now, 982 millibar low, torrential rains are likely in Vermont and New Hampshire. On the north and west side of the track, we're going to get 2 to 4 inches of rain in a very short time, and that could create flooding. The heaviest wind is going to stay offshore, and you see southern New England trying to dry out tomorrow afternoon, but it's going to be so unstable, and the low pressure center ends up wobbling into Maine and kind of stalling there now tomorrow night. And then Sunday morning, you see the 540 line on the left side there over Buffalo. That's cold enough for snow up in the sky, and sure enough, if you look very closely here, there is a little bit of blue mixed with the green there at 10 o'clock Sunday, June 1st, the first day of meteorological summer. There may be snowflakes mixed with the raindrops in the higher elevations of far northern New England at the Canadian border. And Mount Washington probably does get a little frosted, but you see most of the precipitation is shut off, but it's going to be so unstable on Sunday. Let's put this back in motion. It just goes out to 2 o'clock that there are going to be scattered showers and a thunderstorm possible here. Well, I shouldn't say thunder. In that cold air, it's going to be just sort of those big bubbling cumulus, almost like early April type showers possible on Sunday afternoon. But most of Sunday does look dry now. As for quantitative precipitation, let's use the same NAM and use the QPF. That's the amount of rain that's going to fall. And here it comes. You see scattered stripes today, and then tomorrow it really ramps up quickly, and in a matter of less than 12 hours, especially where you have the upslope, the wind from the southeast hitting those mountains of Vermont and New Hampshire with that serious low pressure center that causes suction at the surface, and there's diffluence aloft, and that just means a rapidly ascending air and wicked downpours tomorrow. And that results in some spots trying to show the mustard color, and the mustard color over the highest elevations of southern Vermont and then a little bit into New Hampshire. Those are areas of potentially 3 to 4 inches of rain or more if this NAM is right, because the dark gold there actually is 4 to 5 inches of rain. So we're going to have likely an overachiever tomorrow. There's a flood watch to our south, but there's no flood watch in New England, but I think we can include ourselves in the flood watch for tomorrow. And boy, is it nice out right now. And what about the wind? Well, I can just show you the wind gusts. I think I'll show you the wind gusts. And whenever you get that kind of a deep low, you'd think there'd be a lot of wind, but it's, like I said, a broad center, so the wind is going to mostly stay in the very highest elevations and also over the ocean. You see some reds on there. That's when you're gusting past 35 miles an hour, and there's also some yellows on there. That's gusts past 60 miles an hour over the ocean, and the NAM often overdoes that, but I wouldn't want to be out on a boat south or east of New England tomorrow. It's going to be a rough day for that. Speaking of boats, I'm going to zoom. I don't have my wireless, so I got to talk louder. And fishing is on. Today's not a bad day. And even tomorrow, after the low goes north of Boston, it may turn into a nice afternoon. Epping, New Hampshire. Eric, watch Epping end up with the thunderstorm today. And then tomorrow, the rain should let up in the afternoon. Break for cats. What do you see, Steve? What's up there? What do you got? All right, so all my bushes are foaming. Is that healthy? This is a Montauk daisy. Forget about the peas and lettuce are going to be eradicated. I'm starting over. That thing's coming out. And the roses are also foaming. What does that mean, Angela? Why are the roses foaming? Have they had too much to drink? Yeah, I know the feeling. We're going to get another big drink of water tomorrow. How cute is this? Dogs and cats getting along. There's no problem in our family here. Yeah, he does need his summer shear. Yep, it's about the animals and the weather. Let's go now to what's going to happen beyond this weekend using the GFS. Don't let me forget about the smoke forecast. Why don't I do the smoke forecast right now? It's been very hot and mostly dry in Canada, and here is the fire map. It's called FIRMS, and it shows the fires in North America, and they're exploding across Canada right now in that dry air. Fortunately for us, we are plenty wet. We're not going to have any fires, and the rain will probably wash the smoke out of the air, but the smoke forecast is just incredible. I mean, the smoke is going toward the North Pole there with those fires burning in central Canada, and also coming across the Midwest and kind of looping around New England for now, and then going out across the Atlantic Ocean all the way to Europe. So people, almost the Canary Islands, you can really get out the flow of the air masses too, looking at the smoke forecast with that trough coming across the Midwest and then going over the ridge in the southeast and then out into the Atlantic Ocean. So smoke is going to be a factor, and there was some on the satellite image earlier, and I didn't point it out, but it was there. But I don't see it right now, which is good. But next week we're going to have to deal with smoke, no doubt, and storms, and the GFS that was so out of its mind. Inconsistent yesterday with a nice weather for next Saturday. It's changed to something more logical and not as appealing for next Saturday. You know what I'm talking about already, don't you? Here's the this Saturday with the low pressure deepening, and the GFS has been pretty consistent with this track crossing from Connecticut to Maine with the low pressure tomorrow. Heaviest wind on the east side, heaviest rain on the west side, and it no longer shows on the backside. It does not show a new low forming on the front tomorrow night and Sunday. So that leaves us in breezy and pretty chilly and very unstable air on Sunday. Temperatures are only going to be in the 40s in the hills and 50s central, but we should still be able to get to near 60 at the coast with an offshore wind and maybe a little sunshine, but certainly not beach weather for Sunday, June 1st. And the snow is to our north. The 540 line has lifted out, and rain and snow is over Quebec, so we don't have to worry about fires in Quebec right now, but it's the air that's coming across the middle of the nation. It is hot. It's going to take some time to get in here, still in the upper level low, and so that instability, but it looks really nice again for a Tuesday. And the suddenly summer Wednesday is now back in the forecast. We thought yesterday it was kind of wonky, and sure enough, it looks more like it did 2 days ago now with the showers and thunderstorms, maybe some remnant moisture from tropical cyclone Alvin getting into the mix to add to the rain and thunderstorms that are coming in next Thursday. But note the 570 thickness line is sitting right over us, so we stay in the warm to hot air mass even though showers and thunderstorms are here, because we're going to have a very subtle boundary with colder air in Canada and warm air coming up the east coast. And then it looks like more cyclogenesis trying to form here next Friday night and Saturday. Completely different than yesterday. It showed nice dry high pressure from Canada. Now it shows very steamy air mass with showers and thunderstorms next Saturday and into next Sunday. And yesterday I said, that's when it showed high pressure and beautiful weather for next weekend, I said, that's not going to happen. I said it so confidently, almost cocky, and sure enough, that has changed. And you never want to get cocky in weather, because Mother Nature will humiliate you right away. But this does make more sense now with this. That's now Sunday, June 8th, 240 hours, and it shows the front stalled up and down the east coast with showers and downpours and very warm air. So sun and storms, kind of weather that maybe you end up going to the beach if the sun is out. And we have the New England longboard surf competition next Sunday. I just remembered that. How classic. There's no sign of any surf for us, but we'll talk more about that as we get closer. All right, we're done with the weather part here. There's so much to watch. I feel like I should just go live. So they put the seed down yesterday. Now they're putting the erosion control over it again. And here comes another big rainstorm, and the water is still coming out of the ground beneath there, but they've redone the drainage. You can see them using that stone, doing their best, but cutting down all those trees, taking away all those root systems. I'm sure they knew they were in for a challenge. No sign of these dogwood sticks starting to sprout yet. And I've been kind of oh, there's Fred. Uh-oh. If you know, you know. If you don't, Fred is a major stakeholder in this whole side of this hill. And I'm going to go talk to Fred and watch these two boats coming together. All right, so the Enmore yesterday was it got more and more wet as the day went on, and I'm inspired by my friends at WZLX. A couple days ago, Chuck Nolan in the parking spot, and yesterday, Carter Allen talking about pressure washing. So he inspired me, and I got out the pressure washer and I put on the full gear just for effect. And then yesterday, Kenny Young, what were you talking about? Oh yeah, the Shakira concert getting canceled last night. I thought that was pretty funny. It's not funny the concert's being canceled, but the way you put it in there, that was good. So my friends at ZLX inspire me to pressure wash, and then I was coming home and I thought we were just gonna have a peaceful sunset, and I went by Legion Field, and of course there was a crane up on its neck leaning against the fence. So I had some eyewitness accounts from Sam and Dennis on what happened with that crane in Weymouth. Never a dull moment in Weymouth, is there?
I'm the guy from YouTube.
I'd love to hear what Fred's
I
gonna
am Tim the Weatherman.
tell these guys, talking about the drainage and stuff. So I'm gonna go do that. Here's the Enmore from yesterday, and we'll talk about this situation again tomorrow. Coming out, regardless of how hard it might be raining, I'm coming out in the rain tomorrow morning, and possible thunderstorms. All right, and more from our Thursday, May 29th. So there are a couple of bands of precipitation. A week ago, it was raining a half-inch an hour with winds of 50. This week, we've got some stationary bands for the most part. That one near Brockton looks like it's kind of just sitting there. It was actually moving toward the west a few minutes ago. So we do have some raindrops going on. There's not a lot of wind, but it is from the east. Cyclogenesis south of us. Just a couple seconds ago, those trees were bent over a little bit. So we do have some sporadic gusts going on. And just enough mist to dampen the ground here right now. Certainly not enough to water the lawn. And the birds. Song sparrow and Drizzle. Good day for power washing. Carter Allen was talking about, hey, he gets a power washer out and you just can't stop. Where to start? How about those chairs and this wood? Yeah. And there's some spider webs on the web camera. I'm trying to get rid of those. Just got buzzed by a bee. He flew under here. Uh-oh. Ruh-roh. I don't think so. Sorry, guys. How much should I let it go? How many? I think they're yellow jackets, actually. How many can fit in there? I mean, look at the size of it. It's tiny. Just enough for windshield wipers so far. Not puddles or erosion. Not generating too much solar today, but we now have puddles. Perhaps I don't have to water the seeds this afternoon. But some power washing. Perfect power washing weather. 2:45, 62 degrees. I probably didn't have to dress this heavy, but I did. I could have worn a bathing suit.
Obviously not real Adirondacks, they're plastic. Cheapos. You get the point. Before and after.
And what's next? Put the Playstar ladder on the Playstar raft? No, I don't think so. Pack it up and put 90 more miles, or maybe 60 miles, 90 minutes on the rover, our ancient rover here, with the drizzle continuing on Cape Cod. It's a very thin cloud now. A fun chore I almost forgot about. Harvesting probably the last of the asparagus. The cloud is so thin you actually need your sunglasses on despite the fact that it's raining out. That's pretty cool. It's dry in Barnstable. Got some serious traffic waves though. All right, next stop, Weymouth. Serious traffic waves, including on 53. was a weird backup, and now there's a helicopter. You probably can't see it, hovering over Weymouth, which is never really good news. I'm not sure if I'll know what it is. Well, here we go. Helicopter right over here. Memorial Field. Oh my God, there's a truck upside down over there. What? How is that possible? It looks like a school bus. I can hardly breathe right now. Gotta go check it out. How does a school bus go upside down? Hopefully it had nothing to do with a weatherman running into traffic. All right, it's not a school bus. It's a crane. I can see a crane going upside down. Bad balance, yeah. So we've had a crane tip over in Weymouth. Breaking news in Weymouth, Massachusetts, at Legion Field. Looks like a crane tipped over. No further information is available at this time. Another angle.
Emergency stop.
Yeah, exactly.
Several options here. Yeah, but so you can go that route, or you can that looks an idea.
We should get that helicopter. Let's drop a cable.
Awesome.
Collected some tennis balls
I would
too.
almost recommend fucking just going right to these dollies. You're never gonna
T-Rex
have
is waiting.
30,000.
It's gonna be on the news anyway.
No.
How's it going?
Are you the guy from Channel 5 News?
No, I'm the guy from YouTube. Hi, I'm Tim the Weatherman. What's your name?
Dennis.
Hi, Dennis. I'm Tim from Dennis. Nice to meet you.
You too.
I think a lot of people think I'm Anthony Everett. I look a little bit like him, don't I? You know that guy? You like that show? I like that show a lot too.
I saw it happen.
Well, you saw what happened.
The crash.
What happened?
Oh, the guy was taking weights off with the crane on the side. Like, he was taking stuff off. And then after that, it like tipped onto the sidewalk. And then that went into the bushes. And then it made a dent in the ground and fuel was leaking out. It was crazy. It was super loud.
Was the crane parked
Oh yeah.
in the parking lot?
It was like next to that. Oh, next to the sidewalk. It was
And so,
crazy.
what do you mean he was taking weights off?
So there's stuff on it, like the check weights, to like balance it so it doesn't fall. He took multiple off of one side
With his
and then-
hands or with the crane or
with
what?
The crane off of one side at once, and then it tipped, and then it was crazy. It sounded so loud, and then it went in the bushes. Me and my friend Sam, we went behind. We got a bunch of videos. We got to touch the crane.
Touch a crane. Where was the operator? Was he okay? Did he just step off of it?
He was up there. Like, he wasn't in it. He was in, like, another place in it. And he's fine. He was over there after it happened.
Okay. Well, that's good news. Thank you, Dennis and Sam. Nice to meet you. So this will be on YouTube. It's called Out the Door, Weather and More with Steve, my cat, T-Rex, my dog, and I'm the weatherman. And we put it on YouTube every single day. Do I have your permission to put you on YouTube?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, thank you. All right. Back to T-Rex and Steve and Mitt. Hopefully everyone's okay. It's quite the spectacle, though. Dog wants to play. Dogs always want to play. He's a good boy. It's me. It's my fault. He just wants to play. A puppy. I think it's a puppy. All right, I'm out of the way. I'm getting out of the way. I'm moving along. Move along, nothing to see here. About a time lapse or two of the day in eastern Massachusetts. When I left Barnstable, it started raining pretty hard again in Sandwich. And it's been just kind of waves of precipitation all the way up. It's really warm. I feel the humidity. So there's more action to come over the next 2 days. Always more. That's Cape Cod and Weymouth. The webcam of the Fore River, which was likely more peaceful than this setting right here. No doubt. Sometimes I feel this way as a meteorologist. I need recovery and transport, express. All right. Until tomorrow.